I never thought a single comment could unravel everything I had built over 15 years, but somehow, it did. My name is Derek, I'm 38, and for the past 15 years, I've been married to Clara. We met in college in Boston, both ambitious, both convinced we had found the perfect one. Clara was witty, magnetic, and always the center of attention, while I considered myself the quieter type, steady, reliable, the kind of man who planned every step, every move, every detail of our lives. She often joked that my boring stability was exactly what balanced her chaos. I like to think it worked. For the first decade, it did. Life was busy, of course. Jobs, bills, deadlines, the usual chaos of adulthood. But through it all, we had each other, or at least I thought we did. We'd go on weekend getaways, text silly jokes during the day, and in the evenings, laugh at our inside jokes over wine or take long walks around the neighborhood. Those moments felt like the foundation of our relationship, something unshakable, unbreakable, or so I believed. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly, a laugh that seemed delayed, a touch that felt obligatory rather than affectionate. Clara stopped texting as much during the day. I attributed it to stress, work pressure, maybe fatigue. I never imagined what was actually happening behind the polite smiles and small talks. Then came the night that everything shifted. It was a Saturday, and we had friends over for dinner, just casual, nothing fancy. I made a playful comment about one of our male friends, Ethan, joking about how he always borrows Clara's attention whenever he comes over. It was meant to be lighthearted, just a laugh, nothing more. But I barely finished the sentence before I noticed her stiffening beside me. Her fork clinked sharply against her plate, and for a moment, I thought she was annoyed at my tone. I laughed it off, trying to keep things casual, but she didn't respond. Later that night, when the guests had left, I tried to bring it up gently. Clara, I didn't mean anything by it. It was just a joke. She didn't look at me. Her back was rigid, and her voice, when she finally spoke, was flat, almost cold. You really don't understand, do you? Some things aren't jokes. Not anymore. I asked her what she meant. She didn't answer. I tried to brush it off at first. Maybe she was tired. Maybe I misjudged her mood. I made dinner, cleaned up, tried to give her space. Over the next few days, I noticed small changes that had been invisible before. She started locking her phone, leaving the room abruptly when I entered, avoiding physical contact. It wasn't just the joke. It was like my words had opened a door I didn't know existed, and through it, she had stepped out completely. By midweek, the tension was unbearable. One evening, I approached her on the couch, careful not to startle her. I said softly, Clara, we need to talk. I feel like something changed. I don't understand what happened. She glanced at me, her expression unreadable. Then she said the words that cut deeper than any argument could have. I don't feel anything for you anymore, Derek. Not like I used to. Not with you. I froze. I wanted to respond, to plead, to argue, but nothing came out. My mouth went dry, my chest tight. I realized in that moment that no amount of explanation, no amount of charm or effort would bring her back. She wasn't angry. She was indifferent. That indifference, more than anything, was devastating. For hours, I sat silently beside her, letting the weight of her words settle. Every compliment I had given, every little gesture of care, every late night I spent trying to make her smile, it all seemed irrelevant now. I thought about the years we had shared, the life we had built, and the slow erosion of intimacy and respect that had led us here. And I realized something terrifying. It wasn't just a joke about Ethan that had broken her. It was 1,000 tiny moments of neglect, 1,000 unspoken frustrations that neither of us had addressed. The next morning, I made a decision that surprised even me. I packed a small bag with essentials, clothes, my laptop, a toothbrush, and left the house without saying a word. I didn't slam doors, I didn't yell. I simply walked out, feeling the strange mix of relief and emptiness that comes with stepping away from something that's already gone. I drove to my friend Marcus's apartment in Cambridge and stayed the night on his couch. When he asked what had happened, I tried to explain, but the words felt inadequate. I told him simply, she doesn't want me. I've been trying to hold on to something that doesn't exist anymore. He nodded, silently acknowledging the truth I had been avoiding. Over the following days, I began to piece together what had really been happening. Clara had emotionally checked out long before that joke. Her coldness had nothing to do with me personally. It was about her choices, her desires, her growing detachment from the life we shared. She was capable of ignoring my presence, my efforts, my loyalty, and it was clear she had been doing so for months, maybe even years. The joke was only the trigger, the spark that finally ignited what had been smoldering quietly in the background. I realized that staying in that house, trying to win back someone who had already decided to leave, would have been self-destruction. Not in anger, not in shame, but in quiet, slow erosion of my own dignity. I thought of all the times I had ignored my own needs for the sake of keeping the peace, the countless nights spent holding my frustration inside. I had given everything I could, and it wasn't enough. Not because I was lacking, but because she had already moved on in her mind. That weekend, I didn't text her, I didn't call. I simply focused on myself, breathing, thinking, planning. It was the first time in years that I felt a clarity I hadn't known existed. When I finally checked my phone, I saw messages from mutual friends, questions, and even subtle warnings. Some assumed she had been hurt by the joke, some assumed I had done something wrong, but I knew better. By Monday, I had contacted my lawyer, not out of anger, but out of necessity. The division of assets, finances, and our shared responsibilities needed to be addressed, and I wanted to ensure that the decisions were fair and rational, not dictated by emotion or resentment. I stayed calm, controlled, methodical, just as I always had tried to be in life. In the weeks that followed, Clara reached out sporadically, but I maintained boundaries. Every interaction was carefully measured, respectful, but distant. And with each day, I felt something returning, something I hadn't realized I had lost entirely. My sense of self, my quiet pride, my dignity. I realized that love isn't just about attachment or habit. It's about mutual respect, shared desire, and recognition. When that vanishes, clinging doesn't bring it back. It only erodes the part of yourself you can't afford to lose. I'm not telling this story to vilify Clara, nor am I telling it to play the victim. I'm telling it because I finally understand something crucial. Sometimes, the thing you need most isn't reconciliation, but clarity. And sometimes, the only way to find it is to step away from everything you thought you couldn't live without. That joke about Ethan, trivial as it may seem, wasn't the cause. It was the signal. The signal that our marriage, like so many others, had quietly decayed, that love can be eroded without fanfare, and that the only way to survive it is to accept the truth with calm resolve. I walked away, yes, but not into chaos or vengeance. I walked away into clarity, into the first real peace I had felt in years, and into the quiet knowledge that I would never again allow myself to be invisible in my own life. And as I sit here now, reflecting on everything that happened, I realized the hardest part wasn't leaving Clara. It was finally admitting to myself that some things can't be fixed by jokes, by compromise, or by patience. Some things only end when you finally allow them to. And in that ending, you find a beginning you never knew you needed.